Have you ever wondered why some people rise above all odds while others keep struggling their entire lives? Why do a few individuals break through barriers, build wealth, achieve health, and live with purpose, while the majority never move past average? Jim Rohn once said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." And today, I'm going to reveal 3 timeless rules of success that can change your life forever. Rules so simple, yet so powerful, that once you apply them, you'll never look at success the same way again. Before I give you the first rule, let me share a story. Imagine 2 young men, both starting from the same place. They grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, and faced the same struggles. Yet, 20 years later, one of them is financially free, living with purpose, and respected by everyone around him, while the other is stuck in a cycle of frustration, debt, and disappointment. What made the difference? It wasn't luck, and it wasn't talent. The difference was discipline. The difference was the application of these very rules you're about to learn. Rule number 1. Take full responsibility for your life. This may sound obvious, but let me tell you something. Most people never truly accept responsibility. They blame their parents, the economy, their boss, or even fate for where they are. But here's the truth. Until you accept that you are the creator of your results, nothing will change. Jim Rohn put it beautifully. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is the first law of success. When you take responsibility, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop making excuses and start making progress. Think about it. Every great achiever you admire, from entrepreneurs to leaders, began by saying, "If it's to be, it's up to me." And the moment you say those words, you step into the driver's seat of your own destiny. But responsibility alone isn't enough. You might accept that your life is in your hands, but without the second rule, you'll find yourself lost. And this next rule is something that separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Most people think motivation is enough, but motivation is like a spark, while discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark fades. Jim Rohn often said, "We must all suffer one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces, while regret weighs tons." Think about it. How many people start the new year with goals? They buy gym memberships. They plan new diets. They talk about waking up early and reading more. But after a few weeks, the motivation fades, and so do their goals. Why? Because they never built discipline. Discipline means doing the thing you said you would do, long after the feeling of excitement has passed. It's about showing up, even on the days you don't feel like it. And here's the secret: success doesn't come from big dramatic moments. It comes from small, consistent actions repeated daily. Imagine 2 people. One reads for 30 minutes a day, while the other scrolls social media for 30 minutes a day. After 1 week, no big difference. After 1 year, one has read 20 to 30 books, while the other has wasted hundreds of hours. After 5 years, one has knowledge, skills, and opportunities that compound. The other has nothing but regret. That is the power of discipline. It compounds, just like interest in a bank account. Small actions, consistently done, turn into massive results. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Discipline is uncomfortable. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Saying no to junk food is uncomfortable. Working on your goals after a long day is uncomfortable. But so is being broke, being unhealthy, and being unfulfilled. The difference is, one pain leads to success, the other leads to regret. So ask yourself, which pain do you want to carry? Jim Rohn taught that discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Read a few pages every night. Save a small amount of money each week. Over time, you build the habit of discipline, and that habit will carry you to success. Remember, discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from mediocrity, and freedom from the life you don't want. If discipline is the foundation of success, then consistency is the glue that holds it all together. Think of it like this: discipline gets you started, but consistency is what keeps you moving forward day after day, even when no one is watching. Jim Rohn used to say, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." Notice he didn't say, "once in a while," or "whenever you feel like it." He said every day. Because the truth is, what you do occasionally will not change your life. What you do consistently will. Let's imagine a farmer planting seeds. If he works for one day, plants a few seeds, and then walks away expecting a full harvest, nothing will happen. But if he shows up every day, waters the soil, removes the weeds, and stays consistent, he will eventually reap a harvest far greater than the seeds he planted. Life works exactly the same way. Here's the problem though: most people quit too early. They expect instant results. They go to the gym for 2 weeks, don't see a six-pack, and give up. They read a book or two, but don't instantly become successful, so they stop. But success is not instant coffee. It's a slow brew. It takes time, effort, and most importantly, consistency. And this ties directly into another lesson Jim Rohn emphasized: the importance of lifelong learning. The world is constantly changing, and if you are not growing, you are falling behind. Think about it: the skills that made someone successful 20 years ago may not even exist today. So if you want to be in the top 5% of people who succeed, you must commit to constant learning. Jim Rohn said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." That means you can't just stop learning after school or university. The people who succeed are those who read, listen, observe, and learn every single day. They invest in themselves because they know the best investment you could ever make is in your own mind. So here's the golden rule: consistency in learning creates exponential growth. If you read 10 pages a day, you may think it's nothing. But over a year, that's 3,650 pages, about 15 to 20 books. Do that for 10 years, and you've read nearly 200 books. Do you think that will change your life? Absolutely. Consistency also applies to habits. Saving money consistently, even small amounts, builds wealth. Exercising consistently builds health. Speaking positively and building relationships consistently creates influence. Nothing great happens overnight, but everything great happens with consistency. So if rule number 1 is discipline, rule number 2 is to apply that discipline with consistency and to never stop learning. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. Now that we've covered discipline and consistency, it's time to look at the third and perhaps the most transformative rule Jim Rohn ever taught: taking full responsibility for your life and taking bold action. Here's the truth: most people fail because they spend their lives blaming others. They blame the government, their boss, their parents, the economy, or even luck. But the day you stop pointing fingers and start saying, "If it is to be, it's up to me," that's the day your life begins to change. Jim Rohn said, "You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of." Think about that for a moment. You can't control the weather. You can't control the stock market. You can't control every outcome in life. But you can always control your mindset, your attitude, and the actions you choose to take. That's where true power lies. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people losing their jobs. One person says, "Why me? Life is unfair. I'll never succeed." He spends his days complaining, and nothing changes. The other person says, "Okay, this is tough. But what skills can I learn? What opportunities can I create? How can I turn this setback into a comeback?" That person uses the exact same situation as fuel to grow stronger. And 10 years later, one is still stuck, and the other is thriving. The difference wasn't luck. It was responsibility and action. This is the secret the top 5% understand. Waiting will never create success. Planning forever will not change your life. Only action does. And not just action when you feel motivated, but action even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Jim Rohn reminded us, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." That means instead of waiting for the perfect time, which never comes, start where you are, with what you have, and do what you can. That small step will lead to another, and soon you'll have built unstoppable momentum. And here's something else. Taking responsibility doesn't just mean owning your successes. It also means owning your failures. The world's most successful people failed more times than they succeeded. The difference is, they didn't see failure as the end, they saw it as feedback. Every mistake taught them something. Every setback was a setup for a greater comeback. So rule number 3 is about becoming the driver of your life, not the passenger. It's about understanding that no one is coming to save you. No government, no lottery ticket, no miracle. Your life changes when you decide to change it. And your dreams become reality when you take massive, consistent action, even when you're scared, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one believes in you. So if you've been waiting for the perfect sign, let this be it. Take responsibility. Take action. Your future is waiting. We've now walked through the 3 rules of success that Jim Rohn lived by and taught to millions around the world. Discipline, the foundation of all success. Consistency, the secret that transforms small daily actions into massive long-term results. Responsibility and action, the power to take control of your life and turn challenges into opportunities. If you truly absorb these 3 rules and apply them daily, you will notice something incredible. You will no longer live like the 95% who drift through life with excuses, regrets, and missed opportunities. You will step into the rare 5% who live with clarity, purpose, and results. But here's the key. These rules don't work unless you do. Listening to this video is a start, but it's only the beginning. Knowledge alone won't change your life. Action will. Every single day, you have a choice. Backhand index pointing right. Do I waste another hour scrolling, complaining, and wishing? Backhand index pointing right, or do I invest that hour into building, learning, and growing? Jim Rohn once said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." That's the truth. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not even about having the best opportunities. It's about showing up every single day with discipline, staying consistent when it gets boring, and taking responsibility when things get hard. And here's something important to remember. The journey will not be easy. There will be days when you feel like quitting, when the results don't show up fast enough, when people doubt you. But in those moments, you must remind yourself why you started. Success is not built in a single day, but it is built daily. Brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. Think about this. 1 year from now, you will either be thankful that you started today or regret that you didn't. The difference will depend on the rules you choose to live by. Will you continue following the habits of the 95%, or will you step into the discipline, consistency, and responsibility of the 5%? The choice is yours. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, don't just listen to these principles, live them. Wake up tomorrow with discipline. Stick to your goals with consistency. Take full responsibility for your results and take bold action. If you do this, you won't just dream of success, you'll create it. And when that day comes, when you've built a life you're proud of, you'll look back and realize that it all started with a decision. The decision to step out of the 95% and rise into the 5%. This is your moment. This is your time. Don't waste it. If discipline, consistency, and responsibility are the rules of success, then let me tell you about the enemy that destroys them all, the comfort zone. Most people stay in the 95% not because they're not smart, not because they don't have dreams, but because they settle for what's comfortable. They avoid the difficult decisions. They ignore the small disciplines. They choose distraction over focus, excuses over effort, and comfort over growth. Jim Rohn often said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." But the truth is, wishing won't help if you're trapped in comfort. The comfort zone whispers lies to you. It says, backhand index pointing right. "Relax, you'll start tomorrow." Backhand index pointing right. "It's okay, one missed day won't matter." Backhand index pointing right. "Stay safe, don't take risks. What if you fail?" And without realizing it, days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and suddenly, life passes by while you're still waiting for the right time. But let me remind you, the right time never comes. The only right time is now. Think of success like a gym. The first day you pick up weights, it feels heavy, painful, uncomfortable. Most people quit because comfort tells them to. But the ones who stay, the ones who push through the pain, are the ones who grow stronger. Success works the same way. Growth is uncomfortable, but that's the price you pay for becoming part of the 5%. And here's something powerful. The more often you step outside your comfort zone, the larger your comfort zone becomes. What scared you yesterday becomes normal today. What felt impossible last year becomes your new reality. And that's how progress is made, not in giant leaps, but in small courageous steps, taken again and again. So ask yourself right now, backhand index pointing right, what area of my life have I been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? Backhand index pointing right, what action have I been delaying because I'm waiting for the right moment? Whatever comes to your mind first, that's exactly where you need to start. Here's the truth. Your comfort zone is safe, but nothing grows there. Your dreams don't live there. Your best life doesn't exist there. If you want to join the 5%, you must get used to being uncomfortable. Because discomfort is the soil where success grows. Jim Rohn put it best. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Yes, discipline is uncomfortable, but regret is unbearable. Don't choose the pain of regret just to avoid the discomfort of growth. Step out. Take the risk. Break free from the comfort zone. Because on the other side of fear, discipline, and discomfort lies the life you've always dreamed of. Jim Rohn used to say, "If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much." This is where the fourth rule of success comes in, the power of goals. Let's be honest, most people drift through life. They wake up, go to work, pay their bills, scroll on their phone, watch TV, and then repeat the cycle day after day. And if you ask them where they'll be in 5 years, they have no clear answer. Why? Because they're living by accident, not by design. But the top 5%? They live with clarity. They live with intention. They write down their goals and chase them with relentless energy. They understand that a life without goals is like a ship without a compass. It drifts wherever the wind blows. And most often, it drifts into mediocrity. Think about it. If you don't know where you're going, how will you ever get there? Goals are not just wishes. They are a written declaration of your future. They are your personal GPS that guides your daily actions. Here's the secret. Goals give meaning to discipline. Without a goal, discipline feels like punishment. With a goal, discipline feels like purpose. Why do athletes wake up at 4 a.m. to train? Not because they love pain, but because they have a goal to win. Why do entrepreneurs work late nights? Not because they love stress, but because they have a dream they're chasing. And here's something most people don't realize. Writing down your goals is one of the most powerful things you can do. Studies show that people who write their goals are 10 times more likely to achieve them than those who don't. Why? Because when you write a goal, it moves from your imagination into reality. It becomes something your mind starts to chase automatically. Jim Rohn had a simple exercise. He'd say, "Sit down and make a list of 50 goals. Don't stop until you reach 50. Big goals, small goals, short-term, long-term, it doesn't matter. The point isn't perfection, the point is clarity. Because clarity creates direction." Now, here's the difference between the 95% and the 5%. The 95% say, backhand index pointing right, "I'll start someday." Backhand index pointing right, "I don't know what I want." Backhand index pointing right, "I'll just see what happens." The 5% say, backhand index pointing right, "I will earn this amount by this date." Backhand index pointing right, "I will improve this skill in the next 6 months." Backhand index pointing right, "I will read 12 books this year." And because they set goals, they live with urgency. Their days aren't wasted. Their energy isn't scattered. Their actions are aligned with their future. So let me ask you, do you have your goals written down? Do you know what you're working toward? Or are you letting life happen to you? Remember, goals are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. They are the tool that takes your dreams out of your head and into your hands. And without them, you'll forever drift in the sea of mediocrity. Write them. Review them. Chase them. Because if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every single time. Jim Rohn often said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." At first, that sounds like just another motivational quote, but if you think deeply, you'll realize it's one of the most powerful truths about success and failure. Look around your life right now. Who do you spend the most time with? Are they people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you toward greatness? Or are they people who complain, blame, and settle for mediocrity? Because whether you realize it or not, their mindset is rubbing off on you every single day. If your closest circle always talks about problems, gossip, and negativity, you will unconsciously lower your standards. But if your circle talks about ideas, growth, opportunities, and success, you will rise to match their energy. It's not about judgment, it's about environment. Grass can't grow in the desert, and your dreams can't grow in toxic soil. Think about it like this: success is contagious, and so is failure. Discipline is contagious, and so is laziness. Confidence is contagious, and so is fear. That's why Jim Rohn would say, "Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high." The difference between the 95% and the 5% is this: the 95% stay comfortable with people who never challenge them. They stay in circles where average is normal. The 5% intentionally choose to be around people who stretch them, who make them uncomfortable, who force them to grow. Here's a painful truth: sometimes, the people closest to you may not believe in your dreams. It could be family, friends, or coworkers. They might not say it directly, but their actions, their lack of belief, their constant doubts, can slowly kill your ambition. And if you let that energy dominate your life, you'll end up shrinking your goals just to fit in. But here's the good news: you don't have to cut everyone off. You just need to control your time and influence. Spend more hours with people who inspire you, and fewer with those who drain you. Read books from great minds. Watch speeches from leaders. Listen to voices that lift you higher. If you can't find inspiring people around you, you can still create your own circle of influence through mentors, authors, and role models. Remember this: you don't become successful alone. You rise with the people around you. Just like a flock of geese fly together in formation, helping each other conserve energy, your circle can either carry you forward or weigh you down. Ask yourself, who are my 5? Do they represent the future I want, or the past I need to leave behind? If your answer is uncomfortable, good. That's a sign it's time for change. Because at the end of the day, your income, your habits, your mindset, and even your level of happiness will start to look like the people you surround yourself with. That's the law of association, and it never fails. Choose wisely. Because your circle today is shaping your destiny tomorrow. Jim Rohn once said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." And those words carry more truth today than ever before. Most people go to school, get a degree, and then stop learning. They think education ends at graduation. But the reality is, the world keeps changing, opportunities keep evolving, and those who stop learning fall behind. That's why 95% of people never reach their potential. They stop growing too soon. On the other hand, the top 5% never stop learning. They read books, study mentors, ask better questions, and replace hours of distraction with hours of growth. Over weeks and months, that gap becomes massive. The average person wastes time scrolling. The successful invest that same time in building wisdom. Here's the truth: your current results reflect the knowledge you already have. If you want bigger results, you need bigger knowledge. If you want better income, you must learn better skills. If you want better relationships, you must master better communication. And in today's world, self-education has never been easier. Books, podcasts, courses, mentors, all just a click away. Jim Rohn used to say, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." That's the heart of growth. So I'll ask you, are you treating your mind like your greatest asset? Or are you taking it for granted? Remember, your fortune begins in your mind. Keep learning, keep growing, and there is no limit to how far you can go. That's what separates the 95% from the unstoppable 5%. We've talked about the rules of success, the habits of the top 5%, and the dangers of settling for average. But here's the truth: none of it matters if you don't take action. Jim Rohn used to remind us, "What's easy to do is also easy not to do." Reading this, listening to this, even agreeing with it, that's not enough. Success begins when you decide, today, to act. Think about it. Every great transformation begins with a single step. The person who built a fortune didn't wait for perfect timing. The person who got healthy didn't wait for Monday. The person who became a leader didn't wait for confidence to magically appear. They acted. They stumbled. They learned. And then they acted again. The 95% spend their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for luck, waiting for someone else to fix their problems. But the 5%? They create momentum. They push forward even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncertain, because they know the biggest risk is not taking one. So let me leave you with this. What's the one action you've been delaying? That course you want to start? That business idea in your notebook? That book you keep saying you'll read? Don't push it to tomorrow. Start today. Even if it's small. Even if it feels insignificant. Because success doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens in daily, consistent steps. Jim Rohn said it best. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So take the first step, build the discipline, and watch your life transform. And if this message inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because success grows when it's multiplied. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember, the power to be in the top 5% has always been in your hands.